Metalworkers union Numsa will go on a national strike on the 5th of October. The union is demanding an above-inflation increase for workers in the steel and engineering sector. We're joined by the union spokesperson, Phakamile Hlubi-Majola, for more on this. Phakamile, this strike that you will be embarking on actually reminds me of the same one in the same industry back in 2014, where the industry was saying they've lost about 300 billion per day or million per day, but it was quite a lot of money that they were assuming to have lost. What reasons have they given not to give in to your demands?
Sorry about that. Good afternoon, Masego. Good afternoon to your viewers. Thank you so much for having us on the show. For us, this is really there is no reason for us to go on strike. If the employers in the engineering sector were to engage meaningfully with the demands that workers have placed on the table, we would not be contemplating strike action. The fact of the matter is that last year, workers in the engineering sector gave up their increases in order to cushion the engineering sector from the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, when we're supposed to be bargaining, and workers have placed a demand of 8% on the table for the first year, as well as a demand of CPI plus 2% for the second and third year, and that demand for the second and third year is only if it doesn't meet the threshold of 6%. And we think this demand is fair, given the fact that workers did not get any kind of increase from the engineering sector at all last year, and companies benefited. So we feel that if employers are concerned about their losses that they're going to make, there's certainly enough time to come around the table and talk to us and prevent strike action.
Mm. And when you do go on strike on the 5th of October, Phakamile, which parts of South Africa in the engineering sector will be affected? For instance, will areas such as electricity supply in the engineering sector also be affected?
It's a national strike, so all engineering companies will be affected. This is a sector that represents about 430,000 workers in the country, and Numsa represents the majority of those workers. So we are expecting that there will be in any engineering companies or related industries, not so much electricity specifically, because this is not an ESCOM strike. This is companies that, you know, are engineering companies that are manufacturing companies mostly. Some companies related to motor and auto might be affected because of the relationship in terms of the sector, but mostly manufacturing companies will be affected.
Mm. And in the meantime, while you are preparing to go on the strike on the 5th of October, has the engineering sector, the companies in the engineering sector, tried to come to you as Numsa to ask you to please not embark on the strike and try to reopen the negotiations?
We've been engaging in bilaterals, and we've been doing so particularly since we deadlocked. We remain open to negotiation. What we need is, we need two things. We need employers to be serious about dealing with the demand that members have put on the table for wages. Their response is to offer 4.4%. And that for us is a problem, because it shows that they're not thinking about the sacrifices that workers made. So we urge them to reach out to us. We are ready to talk, and we would like to try and resolve the strike without having to resort to strike action.
Have you advised the companies, for instance, where the money could come from? I think a lot of companies have had COVID-19 and the pandemic as an excuse, with job losses in South Africa and how low our employment rate has been so far, made worse by the unrest. Have you advised them, for instance, on what to do to try and make sure that they can actually give in to your demands?
We believe that they can fulfill the demands, and we do not think that the demands that members are making are unreasonable. You have to remember that the average or the lowest paid worker in engineering is earning 49 Rand per hour. That's the minimum rate in engineering. One of the conditions which employers have put on the table, which has actually created a sticking point in these talks, is the fact that they want us to allow companies which are not adhering to the minimum rate to continue to do so through a special dispensation where they are allowed for 15 years to pay whatever they've been paying instead of paying the minimum rate. Now, these are problematic conditions for us because, again, it is based on a demand where workers must, again, sacrifice gains that they have worked hard for. Secondly, the demand that they have put, or this condition that employers that have put in relation to the special dispensation, they are putting it without any evidence to back up why these companies have not been adhering to the 49 Rands minimum rate in engineering. So workers are simply expected to accept that employers in South Africa are not going to pay the minimum rate, that they should be able to do so for 15 years or more, and that workers should accept a 4.4 increase. But there's absolutely no data to justify why employers are putting that on the table. They're simply hiding behind COVID. Unfortunately, that's not an acceptable explanation for workers in the sector. Our members have made it very clear that they want a meaningful offer on the table. If we are to discuss special dispensation, then that special.
All right, I think we've lost Phakamile Hlubi-Majola. She's the spokesperson of Numsa, but I think we did get the gist of exactly what she was trying to say. Now,